you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness? I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, yeah, obviously I didn't get the result I wanted, but truthfully, the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it. 40 years old, 10 years are tired. Time is the fire in which we all burn. Unfortunately, a 4-year-old is not a 22-year-old, but I gave it my absolute all, and I have nothing but respect for Chase. I have no excuses. I'm not going to make up any reasons because he showed tremendous heart and tremendous grit, and he fought to the end just like I did. But I didn't quit. Never give up. Never retreat. Never surrender. Fight to the end. Go out on your shield. So I'm not disappointed in myself. I don't operate from that frame. The only way I would be disappointed in myself is if I was too scared to fight at all. And when I first agreed to fight, when I told there was a conversation and everyone said, Andrew, you're 40 years old. You've been through so much. You have so many problems. There's so much going on. Why would you do this? Why would you risk it all? Why would you get in there? And I felt a tinge of fear for the first time in my life. And that's when I knew I had to fight, because the second I felt afraid, I knew I had to fight. I can't live doubting myself. Seeds of doubt grow into force of inaction. I don't operate that way. The second I knew that, I was worried about it, I knew I had to do it. And I'm not afraid to lose. I'm afraid to not try. But if there's any lesson in this, for everybody at home, it's that it's okay to lose, but it's not okay to live with a what if. I can sleep knowing I lost. I couldn't sleep watching all the Misfits fights thinking I could have done it and not try. I'm not a what if guy. My life is going to be a tale of all the times I tried and succeeded and tried and failed. There's not going to be a single what if hanging over my head on my deathbed. And I just encourage everyone at home to do the exact same thing. If you're wondering about something or you're not sure about something, go. Because you can live with the loss. You can't live with the what ifs. I'm not a coward. I've told my story. When they said fight Chase, everyone said to me, he's too young, too big. And I thought, yeah, he's too young, too big. And for a fraction of a second, I thought, wait, who the is this? This is not Andrew Tate. Okay, let's go. So I'm happy I fought him. And if I knew I was going to lose, guess what? I would have still fought him. It's not about winning and losing. It's about fighting for me. I see other people live their lives and they're like, oh, I can't wait for the weekend because I want to watch this movie. I think, who cares about a movie? You're looking forward to the weekend for a movie. Looking forward to the weekend to get drunk. Like, these things to me are so mundane. And if I don't fight, if I'm not in a situation where I'm stressed or worried or concerned and just perpetually bored and boredom is crippling, if you're an intelligent person and you've got a good brain on your shoulders, you can't just sit there bored. And then I see people climb Mount Everest or jump off buildings or do base jumping or the guy who jumped from space. People think, what's he doing? He's crazy. I understand, because some people can't live normal lives. Some people cannot just function. 9-to-5 office job, get drunk at the weekends. That is not for some individuals, and it's not for me. So I have to find something which keeps me physically tired enough to stop me going AWOL and mentally tired enough. And I've chosen fighting because without this, when I'm not in training, I wake up every day and think, okay, what am I going to do today? It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'm bored. Everyone's at work. I'm bored. And I'll end up doing something crazy. Either I'm drunk or, it's just a random lifestyle because I'm constantly looking for never-ending entertainment, and it doesn't exist. With fighting, I have to train twice a day, and I have to train hard. The stress it brings can replace fun, and my mind is occupied. It occupies me, and I could never stop doing this, even if I lost 100 fights, because I'm not built to live a normal existence. I can't do it. I couldn't just have a kid with some girl and sit at home and work a little bit and relax. I've never relaxed my entire life. I don't know what relaxing is. It's just not me. I am a much larger proponent of larger risks and larger rewards. If you want to learn about self-help, if you want to understand yourself and see what kind of man you really are and learn how to fight through adversity and learn how to control your mind and learn how to struggle, then you can go to the boxing gym. You need to get in the gym, walk in there and say, I'm going to fight the best fighter here every single day and not quit until you can eventually beat him. But men, most people are not man enough for that. And they'll sit there and try and talk to me about mindset. I learned my mindset in battle. My mindset is 87 professional fights. I don't need to read a self-help book. I don't need to read about motivation or confidence. And reality is always going to be a better teacher than a book because you're not learning when you read books. My coach used to say, if it doesn't hurt, you didn't learn. And it's the same with entire life. You see people make the same mistake over and over again until it eventually goes really wrong. Only then they'll change. So I learned how to become self-disciplined and become self-motivated and work hard, and I learned how to face adversity and find strength within myself I didn't know I had because people were trying to kill me inside of a cage. And you cannot replicate that by reading pages of a book. For 12 years, I trained 5 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I was motivated to train probably about 25% of the time. The rest of the time I went because I am disciplined. You don't feel like going through that on a Wednesday morning when you wake up, but you have to do it because you're disciplined. You're either a disciplined individual or you are not a disciplined individual. There's a difference between want and want. And I say this all the time. People say to me, I want to be rich. And I say, okay, well, I want to be able to ice skate, but I don't want to be able to ice skate enough to go learn how to ice skate because I can't be bothered. I don't want it enough. And this is the exact point with money. Everyone wants money put on their lap. If you truly wanted money, you wouldn't be able to sleep until you had it. I do not need to be motivated. I'm a disciplined person. If I allocate X amount of time to work, I'm going to do it. But that is the bottom line answer. It's discipline. You're going to have to work when you don't feel like working. That's how it's going to have to be, or you're never going to be eaten. You remember New Year's Eve like yesterday, and you remember thinking, this is going to be my year. I'm going to get so much done. And if you're honest with yourself, you're sitting in the same room with the same girl, the same car, living the same life. You're about to waste another entire year. The second you blame yourself for this lack of action, the second you decide it is 100% your fault and your responsibility to change and fix everything, is the second things will start to get better. If you do not overcome your tendency to give up so easily, your life will lead to nothing. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by men who kept fighting when there seemed to be no hope at all. Your success in life is directly correlated to the amount of stress you can deal with. And this is true when you look at cars or you look at jets or any of these things. How fast they can go is directly correlated to how much air is going to be pushing against them. The more successful you become, the more the opposite force is going to push against you. And most people get to a certain level and go, okay, that opposite force is too much. I think we're here to struggle and to learn. I don't think we're here to be happy. That's why when we keep going back to the happy argument, I've always found that kind of frustrating and annoying. And someone goes, oh, but I want to be happy. Why? Why do you want to sit there and laugh like you were happy your entire childhood? That's your happy days. It's all over now, right? You're a man and your responsibilities. I think we're here to do important things, and important things are going to be difficult, and they are going to be hard, and you're going to get frustrated, but that's what gives you purpose. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to endure pain. I think we're here to just see how hard we are to kill. I think that going through terrible things and living through them and coming out the other side is one of the most fantastic things about being human. The only emotional state which can be seen as detrimental is feeling nothing at all. But if you're sitting at home and you're feeling truly heartbroken, at least you're feeling something, right? And I think that's the whole part of being human. Every time something bad happens to you, you need to say thank you to God. Thank you, God, for giving me this difficult time, for me to learn lessons, and for me to have more appreciation for my fantastic life in the future. And especially success is exactly the same way. The lessons you'll learn failing along the way will ensure that when you get to the top, you can keep it. It's very important you're very conscious and cognitive and aware of what's bothering you, what's in your brain, what are you thinking about? Are you going to care about this in 5 years from now? Is it worth being upset about? Is there an easier solution? You know, there's a lot of people who are run by their brains instead of running their brains. If you actually sit down and analyze your mind and decide what thoughts you're going to have and decide which way they're going to all operate, life's a lot easier as opposed to just being a victim of whatever your mind wants to come up with. So I think if you're a man and your arms are functioning and you can speak today because nothing terrible has happened, then you should be happy. And don't worry, bad things are going to happen. They're going to come. There will be a day you wake up and somebody you love has died and you can be sad that day. Why waste a perfectly good day being sad when sad days are guaranteed to come? Every single time you were worried about something, whether it happened or it didn't happen, eventually you got over it and you kind of forgot. So all of the time you spent worrying about things was wasted because in the end it didn't matter because time moves on and you forget and you have new problems to be earned with. Makes you wonder why you worry about anything at all. What are you worrying about right now? Because in 5 years you're going to be worrying about something else. Is worry just a bad habit? Sure, you should prepare. You should understand your car might break down. You're going to end up stranded in the absolute middle of nowhere. But worry, am I worried now? No. I'll sort it out. In a week, it won't matter. In a day, it won't matter. Nothing matters. I gave up worry long ago once I learned that every time I've ever worried, it all just came to nothing. Never catch yourself semi-considering and semi-musing something. Never catch yourself being semi-sad about something that happened, and now you're trying to distract yourself. So you're out with your friends having a meal trying to forget about that girl, but you're still a little bit sad about her. You're not allowed to be a little bit of anything. If you're sad, be sad. And if you're angry, be angry. And if it's not time to be those things, then absolutely stop. Put them away and save the emotion for when it is useful. There's nothing wrong with being authentic and true to yourself. This is how you become lucky. Something makes you mad, then be mad. Trying to hold it in because you don't want your boss to fire you and you don't want your woman to get mad at you. And none of the rage is put into a positive direction. Nobody suffers for the consequences. No empire is built. Nothing happens. The light's half on. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to go through pain. I wake up each day and go, what can I attack? What problem can I solve? Look at history. Why did Genghis Khan wake up and want to conquer the whole world? Why did Napoleon conquer the world? Why did Alexander the Great conquer the world? You just wake up and just say, give me this, give me that. I want all of it. You need Ed to go and conquer. That's the purpose of life. God created us to learn and understand ourselves and understand other people and understand the world. And what did I say earlier? I said that you don't learn a lesson without pain. So you have to struggle to learn anything. There's only two ways to learn things, the hard way or the harder way. But in my experience, 99% of the planet only learn the hardest possible way. If you want to feel happy inside of yourself and you want to feel content and you want to feel stable inside of yourself, you need to live true to God. But you have to be a good person. Well, also, there's no light without dark, and there's no joy without pain. You can't have a rainbow without a little rain. No matter how hard you chase pleasure and happiness, there's going to be dips and troughs in between. There's going to be come downs and downtrends. And you're going to have the juxtaposition between that time you were laughing your head off and the time that you feel depressed as such. And I think it's much better to just adopt a very disciplined, stoic mindset. I'm always the same base level of happy regardless. If I lost all of my money today, I would be the same happy. But as long as I'm alive and the people I care about and love are alive, and as long as God gives me the honor of doing my duties and providing for the people I care about, as long as I get to wake up and know that there's a whole bunch of people in the world who need me, and I get to work hard to please them and do good for society and good for the world, then I'm a vessel of God and I am happy enough to survive. That's all I look at it as. I don't ever consider how do I feel. That doesn't cross my mind. I have things to do. Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you? You ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness? I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, you're always going to be at things. I understand I was born to suffer. A lot of people have said to me, you know, you're under stress. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you smile? This is nothing. I was built to suffer. I wake up every day and go, what's on the menu? I'm so used to it. I'm kind of excited by it. Anything I do, I try and keep the end goal in mind. So people who know me say, Tate, your whole life is work. I say, yeah, it is, but I live a fun life. I'm always constantly striving towards something. The idea of just relaxing completely, I'm quite fortunate because I don't find that appealing. People go, oh, I'd love to just relax on a beach. I can't think of anything worse. I'd be bored in 3 minutes. Maybe that's something I've learned. Maybe it's something I'm born with. But for me, it's always been goal, action, 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 action. So a lot of people don't even have a plan. A lot of the people are just waiting for their ship to come in. One day, my ship will come in, and when it does, I'll buy a house, and then I'll go on holiday twice a year. Like, that's their entire life goal. And I'm not hating on those people because I need those people to serve me coffee. So that's fine. People ask me, how do you get rich? You do this and you work. Oh, but that won't work for me because they are saying that so they do not have to actually do the work. That's what they're trying to do, trying to avoid the brutal realities of life. There's nowhere to hide. The only thing that is guaranteed in this life besides death is company, instant, never-ending work. You're sitting around on your ass doom scrolling and jerking off to porn, and then you have the audacity to ask me why you're not where you want to be in life because you were too busy jerking off and chasing around women who are too good for you in the first place. The only way you're going to have anything in this life is to wake up and to suffer the brutal realities of endless effort and to win by force. I can be motivated to do anything because I force myself. I can blink and cure my brain and be endlessly, permanently motivated to achieve the most mundane and boring and insignificant of tasks. You can't motivate yourself to even get in the gym and have a body people admire you for. You can't motivate yourself to get up and log in and dedicate yourself so you can finally have some money. The dream is not to have a Lambo. The dream is to have a mother who isn't worried about hospital bills. It's to be able to travel around the world because there's a place you want to see before you die. The dream is to not have that depression on a Sunday night because you have work on a Monday morning. And to achieve this dream, you do not have to go and die in a ditch. You do not have to climb Mount Everest. You have to open up a laptop and type, and you still fail. You don't have the motivation to type on a keyboard to achieve your dreams. And you think I can fix a loser like you? Make a list of all the things you would do if you were guaranteed to win. A genie appears and says to you, the next 10 activities you partake in have a 100% success rate. If you enter the cage, you're going to win. Everyone wants to be a cage fighter. There's not a man alive who doesn't want to be a cage fighter, but most men are too scared. So they just cope and go to the gym and lift weights and try and look like a cage fighter without actually being a cage buyer. But they're afraid because they're cowards. But if you get in there, are guaranteed to win. You guaranteed to have that reputation for the rest of your life. It's a guaranteed win. If you start a company, it's a guaranteed win. You're going to get paid. It's going to be successful. To be a millionaire. Make a list of the 10 things you'd do if they were guaranteed wins. And once that list is made, look in the mirror and decide to give them 100% of your effort, all of your heart and soul. You're going to try your very best. You're going to keep your mind open. Keep your energy levels high, and you're going to dedicate yourself until the end of the year. Before Christmas comes, you're going to give them everything you've got. You're going to agree you want to do a cage fight. You're going to go train with everything you got. You're going to agree you're going to launch a business. You're just going to sit there and promise to give 100% of yourself to the 10 things you definitely would do if you had a 100% guaranteed victory at the end of it. And if you do all of that, I guarantee you 2026 will be the most fantastic year of your life.